You can use settings to control the type of symbols that are shown in VS Code's outline view, as well as in the breadcrumbs view. Now, by default, VS Code will try to show as much symbol information as possible. So in this TypeScript file, for example, if we look over at the outline, you can see that we're currently inside of the constructor for the semantic token builder class here. It also has entries for all of the properties. So you can see I have entries for these properties that are being declared. If we look inside of the constructor, you can see that we have entries for the local variables that are being declared as well. So we have entries for pretty much every symbol in the file. Now, if you're finding this a little bit overwhelming, you can use settings to disable some of these. Now, to get started, I'm going to open up my settings with Control comma or Command comma on Mac, and I'm going to search for outline show. And you can see I have a bunch of settings here. So I'm going to go to the outline show arrays, for example. And these are all controlling the type of symbols that are going to be shown in the outline view. Again, by default, VS Code will try to show pretty much anything. But if we wanted to disable properties, for example, and we're not finding those useful, I could go and search properties. And I want outline show properties here. And I'm just going to uncheck that. Now, when we go back to this TypeScript file, you can see that I have my same class here, but now none of those properties are actually being shown in the outline view. So it's just going directly to the constructor. All of these properties have been excluded. And you can go through this entire list of the various show properties and the show settings here to configure what type of symbols you actually want to be shown in the outline. Now, the same settings exist for the breadcrumbs view. So again, I'm going to go into the file here, and let's open up the breadcrumbs. So I'm going to go and click on the breadcrumbs here, and you can see that I have pretty much the same view the outline had before, where it's showing all of this symbol information. So we could also use the settings to configure the type of symbols that are going to be shown in the breadcrumbs view. I'm going to go back to my settings here, and instead of outline show, I'm going to say breadcrumb show. And I want the breadcrumb show settings here. Now, it's pretty much the same symbol name, so I could do something like breadcrumb show properties. And I could go and uncheck this, for example. And now when I go back to my breadcrumbs, you can see that the breadcrumbs are going to be there's a lot fewer entries because all of those properties have now been hidden. And again, you can go through this entire list of all the various settings and all the different symbol kinds and really select what type of things you actually want to be visible. So you might want to hide local variables, for example, or there might be some more specific cases depending on the language you're working in where you're finding some of the entries not helpful. So that's a quick look at how you can use VS Code settings to control the type of symbols that are shown in the outline and in the breadcrumbs view.